Here's a scenario you're probably very familiar with. You're in your office. You're trying to get a few things knocked off your to-do list. You're probably returning some phone calls, maybe getting some emails returned, and trying to get through that stack of paperwork that just never seems to get any smaller. The phone rings, and it's an ad rep. And maybe you've advertised with this rep before, but what they tell you today is that they're running a promotion. And they're going to give you a great deal on this ad, but you're going to have to make the decision by the end of the day. What do? If you're like most businesses, you want to grow your business, but sometimes it really can just seem like you're throwing money away with your advertising. And I'll be honest with you, I think this is probably one of the biggest complaints that people that run businesses suffer from, is they don't have a handle on their advertising or their marketing. And so every time somebody calls, it feels like they're just getting pressured to do something. It always feels like it's money that's coming painfully out of their pocket. What you're going to learn in this program is how to quickly and easily create ads that you can track. You're also going to learn how to measure the success of your ads. And finally, you're going to see how this applies to different types of media and different types of businesses. So you'll be able to take the information you learn in this program and apply it to print ads, as well as radio advertising or any other types of promotions that you do. I want to go over a few notes with you right now. I suggest that you stop right now and grab a pen and a paper. Oftentimes we will watch programs, we get some great ideas, but if we don't write that information down, it can disappear. So I suggest that you take a moment right now, if you haven't already, and grab a pen and some paper. Also suggest that you pause this DVD whenever you need to. You may come up with some good ideas and you might think, oh, I want to go grab a copy of that last ad we placed so that I can make some marks on it right now. Pause this DVD, review it, but get the most out of it. I really want you to work on your business. Don't just learn this in a superficial level. Really be thinking about your business as you go through this program. And finally, I invented a cafe to use as an example in the ad that I'm going to show you later on in the program. But I do want to tell you that while it may sound like a great place to have brunch, the cafe is completely fictional. Before we get rolling on the nuts and bolts of this program, I want to take a moment to talk about the reason why. The reasons why we take action on anything. Act like fuel in the tank to keep us going or stopping as we progress towards our goals. If we have weak reasons, we'll just lose steam. But if we have strong reasons, then we're just much more likely to see the process through and achieve that goal. Think about this in your own life. If you've ever gone on a diet, a lot of times the success or failure is just due to how strong the reason is in your mind. If you're just doing it because you think that you should do it, you're probably not as likely to see success. But if you have an upcoming event that's really important to you, say a class reunion, then if that class reunion is really important to you and you really want to look good, that reason why is compelling, is strong enough that it'll carry you through to achieving that goal. We as humans are just naturally wired to look for the reason why. Think how often you hear about something and you immediately wonder why. Whether it's somebody did something and you wonder why they made that decision, or if it's an event that's coming up, a party, you want to know why the party is being thrown. It's a natural response. In fact, if you've ever spent any time with a 3-year-old and been amazed at how often they can ask why to every answer that you give them, you can see that completely clearly and in action, that it's just innate in us humans. So right now I want to take a moment and talk about the reason why it's important for you to learn how to create effective ads for your business. First of all, you'll save money. And I would say right now, with the economy being still kind of stuck in the doldrums, saving money is really important. We want to make our investments go as far as possible. You'll also see better results from your advertising. And this is a big problem that people have is they place ads and they're never really sure if they do anything. They feel like they have to place these ads. The reasons that the ad person tells them they need to be in this publication are pretty compelling, but they really don't feel like they get results from it. When you learn how to create effective ads, you will see better results. You also won't feel as overwhelmed and frustrated with the whole process of dealing with your marketing and placing ads. So many times business owners can just get completely overwhelmed and frustrated, and they end up just canceling their marketing efforts. They say things like, "This doesn't work for my business," when really they just need to spend a little time to learn how to create effective ads. You'll also regain control when talking to these sales reps. And that's important. You want to be able to make a decision based on what you know is best for your business, not what a sales reps will tell you. You'll also be able to make better decisions for your business because you'll be making these decisions based on numbers and fact, not just sales promises from the ad rep or hope. Now, while all of these benefits are great and important, there's another big benefit that I want to talk about right now. A big reason why it's important for you to learn how to create effective ads is that when you get this process down pat, it becomes a system in your business. Systems are the glue that keep a business together. They're what allow you to scale and grow your business. They allow you to get more done in your business. They allow you to be able to go on vacation or take a day off without the business falling apart at the seams. In fact, the more systems that you can implement in your business, the more solid your business becomes. Now, you maybe haven't thought about your advertising or your marketing efforts as a system, but here are a few examples of systems that you probably already have running in your business right now. Payroll is a system in your business. Employee manuals. And even if you don't have specific manuals, you have rules for your employees, and those are systems as well. Accounting is an easy system to see in your business. Without it, things become completely confusing and you don't even know if you're profitable or not. Time off requests. There's a system to how long an employee has to work for you before they can request time off. All of these systems are working in your business, and the more areas that you can involve systems in your business, the stronger and more reliable your business will become. So I hope that these reasons why are compelling enough that you're ready to launch into the rest of this program, take good notes, and really learn how you can quickly and easily create effective ads and see better results from your marketing. Let's get going. There are 5 main components to an effective ad. The first one that we're going to talk about is the offer. What deal are you offering your customers and prospects through the ad that you're placing? Create an offer that will catch the reader's attention. That really is the first step in creating an effective ad. Now, this offer can be a discount or a giveaway, but it can also be something as a special report, information that would be valuable to their prospects. Make sure that the offer you put together is going to be valuable to your customers and prospects, something that's going to capture their attention and make them want to participate. The second component of an effective ad is the reason why. Now, you'll remember from the first portion of the program, we talked about the reason why. People find ads and offers with a reason why much more believable. And if they're more believable, they will perform better for you. This is why a going out of business sale or a spring cleanup sale will perform better for you than just advertising a sale. People want to know the reason why you're having a sale. It is a powerful psychological trigger, and it will definitely improve your marketing. Plus, you can really have fun with it. You can come up with really creative reasons why you're having a sale. You don't have to stick to the traditional reasons. Third component of an effective ad is a deadline. You want to have a limited time offer in your ad or a limited number available if you're giving something away. If an offer is open, meaning there's no expiration date or limited number of anything available, people simply won't feel compelled to act. But if there is an expiration date, people don't want to miss out. And if they're in your audience, meaning they're a customer that would be interested in coming in and taking advantage, they're just going to be much more likely to take advantage of it when there is a limited time. Scarcity is a powerful trigger. And when we talked about the reason why as a psychological trigger, scarcity acts on that same level. And it's really important to keep this in your ads. The fourth component of an effective ad is a call to action. What do you want the reader to do when they read your ad? A call to action is really important. It tells the reader exactly what they need to do next to take advantage of the offer. Be specific. Most ads fail here. Make the most of your investment and tell people specifically what they should do next. Specifically say, pick up the phone right now and call us to set an appointment if you want people to call. If you want people to come in with the ad and take advantage of the offer, then say that. Be specific. The fifth component of an effective ad is a tracking mechanism. You want to know how many people responded to your ad, and having a way to track that is really important in any ongoing marketing. Coupons and offer codes are the easiest way to track how your ad is performing. You simply collect the coupons in a stack during the week that your offer is extended, or have somebody mark on a sheet when people call in with an offer code if you're tracking that way. There are other fancier ways that you can track. If you're using websites, you can have what's called analytics. So if you send people to a specific web page, you can actually, as an administrator of that website, look and see how many people went to that web page. But the easiest and simplest way to track how effective your ad is simply through a coupon or an offer code. Now, it's also important to keep track of your data throughout the year. Every time you place an ad, you want to know how many people took advantage of that ad, how many people participated. So keep track of it. Now that you have an understanding of the 5 main components of a good ad, let's look at an example that is probably going to be somewhat familiar to you. This is an ad that I put together that is very similar to a lot of ads that you'll see even in Yellow Pages, but oftentimes in local magazines or other publications. It's just a general, what a lot of people would call a business card type listing. It just tells what the name of the business is and what the business is about. But how does it measure up now that you know the 5 main components that make up a good ad? Let's do some grading. Is there an offer? Well, if you look at the ad, there isn't. It's just stating what my business is. Is there a reason why? Well, there isn't a reason why because there isn't an offer. So there's no reason why. It's just merely a branding type ad. Is there a deadline? Well, of course not. Without an offer, you can't have a deadline. So there's no deadline. There's no call to action because there isn't an offer. So I'm not even asking anybody to do anything. I paid money to put this ad in the newspaper, and I'm not even asking people to come into my business. And it certainly isn't trackable. There's no way for me to know if I spent money putting this ad into a publication, if it actually worked. Now, I know this can seem to look, it's kind of funny to look at it this way. But if you page through publications, or you maybe even look at some that you have placed, you're going to see a lot that look like this. And it's just merely because people didn't know. They don't understand the components that make up a good ad. But the problem is people spend a lot of money putting ads like this in the paper. And then when their business doesn't get boosted, they say things like, marketing doesn't work for my business. Advertising doesn't work for my business. I've tried it and it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because the ad doesn't have any of the components that make up a good ad. Here's what I would put together if I were redoing that ad for my pretend cafe. Friday, June 3rd is National Donut Day, but we're celebrating all week. Cut this ad out, bring it into your Melissa's Cafe for your free donut. Hurry in because this offer is only good from Monday, May 30th to Sunday, June 5th. And then I have my address for the cafe below. Let's grade it. Offer, check. The offer in this ad is for a free donut. I have it highlighted, it's bold, and it's front and center. You can't miss it if you see this ad. The reason why I'm giving the offer is that Friday, June 3rd is National Donut Day. There's a deadline. Right at the bottom, it says the offer is only good from Monday, May 30th to Sunday, June 5th. So the deadline is June 5th. Call to action. I'm specifically telling people to cut this ad out and bring it into Melissa's Cafe. Now, I also want to add that I'm specific on where the cafe is. A lot of times, especially with local advertising, people they just merely forget to put their address in, often because they think, well, everybody knows where we're at. But I want to encourage you to make sure that you put some information, because a lot of times people are passing through town or they are new to the area. And if you just simply state the name of your business, people aren't even going to know which city you're in if they're reading from the local area. So make sure that you put that in. It's trackable. I will collect these coupons that people bring in through the course of that week, and at the end of the week I will count them and I'll know how many people took advantage of my ad. Now I want to talk about some myths. Oftentimes I'll hear people say, but oh my gosh, Melissa, that ad is ugly. But I have to tell you something. Pretty doesn't pull. And pull is just a term for how well your ad performed for you. How many people did it actually pull into your business? And pretty doesn't do it. Pretty is not a psychological trigger. And if you remember, we talked about the psychological triggers earlier. They're really, really important. And the offer, the deadline, the reason why, all of those other components are much stronger psychological triggers and will win over pretty every time. Another concern that I hear from people is, oh, but Melissa, if I put coupons out there, then I'm just going to get those coupon clippers. And though I understand what you're talking about, if you've thought that, you don't want to give away the farm. I understand that you're in your business to be profitable. But these people are still coming into your business, and there should be profit in that offer. Also, they're much more likely to be purchasing other things. With my example, the free donut, people are probably coming in and having some coffee with that, maybe some breakfast, maybe taking advantage of some of the other products that I have there. People will want to, if you give something away, it's naturally that they want to buy more from you. So don't just think about, I'm giving away these coupons and these people only show up when they have coupons. Because another thing you want to think about is every single person that comes in your door knows more people. They have friends and family that they talk to about where they go, what they buy, and the experiences they have at those places. So every time somebody walks in your door, they represent more people. So you want to treat people like they could be your potential fans. So don't worry as much about making the most money from each customer. Worry about your overall return on investment. Okay, now that you have learned the 5 components that make up an effective ad, now we're going to learn how to measure the success of your ad. And this really is where your efforts pay off. But before we get started on that, I really want to congratulate you. Honestly, most people and business owners just never take the time to figure all of this out. So just the fact that you have gotten this far in the program really does put you in the top percentile. So I want to congratulate you because you can really take this information and make a big difference in your business and really, really get ahead of your competition. Now we're going to be figuring out your ad's return on investment, or ROI. The reason that you want to figure out your ad's return on investment is so that you know that your ads are working for you. You want to make sure that the investment you make with the cost of that ad is producing more business in your doors than the cost of the ad. It's really important. There are three important numbers that we're going to figure out before we get into the return on investment. The first number is we want to know what the average revenue per customer is for your business. We also will want to track what the cost of the ad placement was. And the number of offers redeemed, meaning how many of those people came in after they saw your ad and took advantage of your offer. You want to pay attention and track that number as well. Average revenue per customer. How do you find out what your average revenue per customer is? Well, you take the total receipts during a specific period of time that you choose and divide it by the total number of customers that created those total receipts. So it's just simply taking a chunk of revenue and dividing it by the number of customers that gave you that chunk of revenue. The cost of the ad placement. How do you figure that? Well, it would be the cost to place the ad, the actual ad fee, plus any design cost. If you're outsourcing the design of your ad with those 5 components of an effective ad, if you're paying somebody else to do that, you probably want to include that cost as well. How do you figure out the number of offers redeemed? You would simply count the number of coupons that you collected during the period of time that your offer is extended. Or if you had an offer code, which we talked about earlier, if you had people mention an offer code when they called in for an appointment or something like that, you want to count how many of those offer codes were mentioned during the time that your ad was live. Now let's look at an example so that this makes a little bit more sense to you. Let's figure out the average revenue per customer for Melissa's Cafe. I'm going to take the total receipts and divide it by the number of customers. Now, in my cafe, I would probably need to get some help from the waiters and waitresses in order to know how many customers those receipts represented. So I would just ask them if you could just quickly write down how many people were at that table for that check. Then I can actually figure out the total receipts versus the number of customers. So let's take an example. Let's say I had $1,000 in total receipts and 100 customers produced that $1,000 in total receipts. The math would look like this: 1,000 divided by 100. With this as my example, I would have a $10 average revenue per customer. That means that every person on average, when they walk in my door, they produce about $10 in revenue to me. This is an important number for a business owner to know, so take some time to analyze your books and figure this out. Cost of an ad placement that I placed for Melissa's Cafe would be the cost to place an ad, again, plus any design cost. Well, my ad is going to cost $250 to place, but I actually design my own ads, so I'm not going to have any design cost. Number of offers redeemed. I am simply going to count the number of coupons that were collected during the time that my free donut offer was available to people. And I'm going to say that I collected 100 coupons during the week that I offered the free donut. Now let's figure out the return on investment. The return on investment is simply the revenue produced for that ad, subtracting out the ad cost, and dividing that number by the ad cost. Let's see how this looks. First of all, we need to figure out the average revenue that my ad produced. If you remember, I said that I collected 100 coupons and my average revenue per customer is $10. So 100 coupons times my average of $10 is $1,000. Now, I do want to talk for a second about the fact that I'm using an average revenue. It would take a lot longer for me to actually figure out specifically how much revenue each of those coupons produced. That would mean that my waiters and waitresses would have to write down the total per check for every single coupon. I want to make this process as streamlined and efficient for you. So I suggest figuring out the average revenue produced and just roughing these numbers out, but using those consistent averages throughout the year so that you're comparing apples to apples as you look ad to ad and see how each ad performed. So the return on investment for me for this ad would be $1,000, which is that revenue that the ad produced, minus the $250 ad cost divided by the $250 ad cost. So it looks like this: 750 divided by 250 equals 3. Or you could say that would be a 300% return on investment. Now, what does this mean to your business? Well, for this ad, in my example, it means that for every dollar that I spent on that ad, $3 was returned. That's a really important number for me to look at as I place ads from month to month. I want to see which offer performed best, maybe what season seems to perform best for me. But what this is like when I look at this number, it means every dollar I spend, it's like an ATM. $3 comes back in, and that's really important for me to look at, and it kind of gets me excited about my marketing. Here are some ideas for you. First of all, I want you to track all of your ads' ROI for the whole year. And we just talked about that, but I really want to reinforce it and make sure that you come up with a standard way to keep all of that information. You want to know how much you paid for the ad, where the ad was placed, and how that ad performed for you. So track that return on investment, as well as keep track of what your offer was, because you're going to find that some are going to perform better, and you're going to start migrating a little bit more of your offers to what's been performing better for you. So you'll learn as you go and you'll get better at this. I also don't want you to get bogged down and worried that you're not going to be able to come up with any clever ideas or any good offers or reasons why to place the ad. I'm going to give you a quick shortcut right here. If you go to the website holidayinsights.com, it lists dozens and dozens of these really funny and unique holidays. In fact, my National Donut Day that I mentioned is an actual national holiday. It's the first Friday in June of every year. You can use that as a reason why for your ads. Grandparents' Day is the first Sunday after Labor Day. You could use something like that for a reason why and a clever offer to come up with in your ad. Milkshake Day is September 12th. There's all sorts of unique and interesting and fun holidays that you can put in your ads. And honestly, you might think that it's a little silly, but it will really attract people. People are drawn to things that are unique, and they're going to follow you and they're going to look to see next month what holiday you're celebrating, because it's going to be something different and a little bit wacky. But don't forget about celebrating things like your birthday. People love events, and if you put an ad in that it was your birthday and you were giving away a special offer, I bet you would be astounded at how many people would come into your business and make sure that they wished you happy birthday, as well as taking you up on that offer. It's really important to have fun with all of this. It's just going to make you a lot more likely to keep it up. The return on investment is important, but enjoying your business and as many aspects as possible is really, really important. So have fun with this. I want to talk for a moment about applying these concepts that you learned in this program to different types of advertising media, as well as different types of businesses. Now, we used my fake cafe as an example just so that you could see some specifics. I wanted to not just talk about theory. I really wanted to give you some examples so that you could take those to heart a little bit more easily. But if you do mostly radio advertising, you would still want to use those 5 components that make up an effective ad. You would just be reading them to people versus them seeing them in print, but you still want a deadline. You still want a reason why. All of those components that make up an effective ad apply directly to radio ads. So make sure that you do a little checklist if you do radio advertising. I also want you to understand that this can apply to a whole variety of businesses. It doesn't have to be just a restaurant or a similar bricks and mortar. If you have something like an insurance agency, or maybe you're a business attorney or a CPA, you're providing services, and a lot of times service providers really struggle coming up with something that would get people in the door. But think about what your goal is of that ad. Are you trying to get people to come in and get a quote from you? If that is the case, what you're trying to do is just get people in the door. So the reason why you get people in there might be because you're giving something away that they would think is valuable. But you can become creative with this and have several times a year where you have little packages that you'll give away, or even a free pizza. If you gave away a free pizza to every person that called in for a free quote on their insurance, you would get a lot of people that would call in. So think about that. Don't be limited to just giving discounts on your products, because oftentimes service providers just can't give discounts. So become creative. Think about what you want people to do, and then think about incentives to get people to do that action. It's important to keep your customer in mind when you come up with these offers. It's kind of easy to come up with an offer when you have something like a cafe, because you can just give something away, you can give a discount, and that might be enough. But if you offer services, you want to think about your customer and think about what would be valuable to them. I mentioned earlier in the program that you could put together a free report, and maybe that would be information that is valuable to them. But if there's other little things, gifts and that sort of thing, be creative in coming up with your offer. If you keep your customer in mind first and constantly think of them and what is important to them and what would be valuable to them, you won't go wrong. Let's review what we covered in this program. We covered how you can quickly create ads you can track using the 5 components of an effective ad. And I just gave you a shortcut on how to come up with some easy offers. We also covered how to measure the success of your ad, meaning what was the return on investment. You paid this much for that ad and it produced this much to you. We also just discussed how to apply this information to different types of media as well as different types of businesses. I hope you enjoyed this program. I hope you got a lot out of it. I really, really encourage you to take action on this. Don't just let this sit on your shelf and have it be another educational product that you just absorbed in theory. I really want you to write down some action steps and commit to taking them. This process can really, really transform your business, and it can take your marketing and make it just work so much harder for your business. Don't just accept branding type ads that you can't track and that you don't know if they're working for you. Your business deserves better. So take action. Use the information you learned in this program and allow it to better your business. If you have any questions on this program or any business questions in general, the Southwest Wisconsin Small Business Development Center is a great resource. Call them directly at 608-342-1038 or email them at the email address that is on your screen. Thank you so much for tuning into this program, and I wish you the greatest of luck in your business.